You know, she was known as the beloved Thelma Lou, Barney's girlfriend on the Andy Griffith Show. Betty Lynn passed away last October, but her long-awaited autobiography will debut in Mount Airy next Monday. Her love affair with Mount Airy was obvious. Co-author Jim Clark says it was a huge part of her life.
She moved to Mount Airy in 2007 after having been to Mayberry Days for several years, and she really came to love the town just from those visits. And then also while in LA, where she lived for about 50 years or more, she had several burglaries at her house and that kind of thing, and just felt unsafe in LA, and it just got to be where it wasn't, I guess, Mayberry enough for her. So where else better to go than Mount Airy.
Clark said that Betty Lynn's career was huge even before the Andy Griffith Show, when she entertained our troops overseas.
Back in World War II, she was in the USO and was right in India, in the China Burma India theater, and was right there where the action was. I mean, she wasn't in combat, but she was right there entertaining the troops who were very close to the front lines. And she had some really harrowing experiences, and talks quite a bit about that in the book. And that was something before I started knowing Betty, I didn't have any idea that she'd done all that.
She also spent time in Broadway productions as well, but it was always Thelma Lou that made her smile. She
clearly thought that the Andy Griffith Show was a highlight of her life, just as Andy Griffith did, or professional life anyway. And most Don Knotts, they all said that was the best work they ever had, best job, most fun. But Betty was so grateful about everything in her life. That was probably the one thing I would sum up with her most, would be that she felt so much gratitude for friends and for people that she met, just the fans that she met, and the career that she had. She felt she had a really blessed life.
She was super sweet. I got to meet her many times, and every time I'd see her, she'd always say, "There's my weatherman." That's why she's so cute. She was in a wheelchair at that point. Jim, by the way, he helped co-author this. So basically just helped her get her stories together and get them on paper and all that. And this book comes out. They're doing the debut party in Mount Airy next Monday, and you can buy it. If you look for this story online, we've got information where you can check it out.
This is huge. I absolutely love autobiographies.
I do too.
I love learning about just the different little nuggets about someone's life, of how they got to where they are. And then I also like the pictures that are inside them. And I was reading that there's about 140 special pictures in there.
Yeah, I know what it was 400 pictures.
400.
Like they put a ton of pictures in, which is a perfect book for me, since I like the pictures.
Right.
But I like you said, it shows her with Jimmy Stewart, shows her with all these famous actors that she did stuff with before the show.
Probably never before seen, footage, photos.
I bet you're looking forward to reading it, especially knowing, that you did know her and you had kind of a relationship with her.
She was so sweet, and if she told me a funny story, I'll try to make this real quick, but it's kind of the way Hollywood used to be. So she was a minor character. I mean, a major. Everybody knew her, but that she wasn't Andy, Opie, or Barney, which are the main ones, right? And so she said one time my agent and I went in and we were asking for a raise, and I said, "What did they say?" And she said the producer went, "Barney can get a new girlfriend." And she said, and she went, "My salary's just fine. I'll just stay with this."
We're good over here.
I said, "Wow."
It's tough. I mean, that's show business, right?
And it was a big show back then.
Yeah.
It was huge. Anyway, that book should be good. Everybody should check it out. Quick note, Jim Clark is president of the Andy Griffith Show Rerun Watchers Club, which he started in college as a joke, and then it grew in the 90s to some big thing. And that's why, if you notice behind him, he had all that memorabilia, because he's a huge fan, and his hometown is Greensboro. He lives in Nashville, Tennessee. But there you go.
Cool.
Yeah, sure, it's going to be selling like hotcakes.
I hope so. I hope so.